Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Moose Henderson. Today, we're going to take a look at a piece of property I'm in the process of buying. And on this piece of property, I'm going to be building myself an off grid cabin. We'll go ahead and drive in on the entrance road and take a look at the property, and then we'll take a look at some of the amenities that are part of this particular neighborhood, so to speak. At the end of this video, I'll give you an update on the Smoky Mountain photography book and an update on other types of life events. So as we drive in, you see that it's a fairly wooded type area. This is located near the town of Crossville, which is roughly in the middle of Tennessee, roughly halfway between Nashville and Knoxville. And of course, this is up in the area of the Smoky Mountains, so there's a lot of hilly topography, as you can see. But some of the lots are on flat enough land that you are able to build a fairly nice residence. So we'll drive around for a little bit and I'll play a little bit of music. And then once we get to the site that I am purchasing, I'll be back with a little bit more narrative. So this is a drawing of the plot of land that is available, and you'll see on the drawing that it's roughly 8 foot wide by 160 feet deep. And then we take a look at the actual piece of property. This is the front of it that we're looking at, where I have my car parked. And then there's an access road that goes right down along one side of the property. And you see that there's some trees on the property, especially up front, that help to block the view of the main road and to give you some privacy back on your property. There is an easement for the electrical lines that go through the property, but for me, that's not really a major problem because the wires are up high enough they won't cause a problem, and I don't plan to build on the front of the property anyway. So as you look at the property, you see it's partially cleared already, and there's some weeds growing here, but that's going to be easy enough to clean off the weeds and be able to make this into a buildable lot. We'll walk back to the very back of the property now and take a look from the back. Looking forward, the property line goes back into those trees that you see back there. So there's a good amount of tree cover between my property and the one that's back behind. And as you can see, it's a very beautiful type of area. The property directly next door is unoccupied. It does have a building on it for a well. And directly across the street from where my car was parked, this is the ranch house that is over there, a fairly nice piece of property. The road itself is a little bit rough, but that's kind of to be expected as the property owners group takes care of the roads. There are three lakes in this particular housing complex, and they're private lakes. You have to belong to the housing complex to have a right to use these lakes. And my property is right across the road from one of these lakes. The lakes do allow you to put a boat on it, but the boat must be either hand powered or electric powered. There are no outboards allowed on the lake. And there are people who come here and fish, and they do stock the lakes with some fish. And there's a guy right there who's currently trying to catch himself some lunch. There's also a suspension bridge that runs across the lake and over to the other side of the land. And that's kind of fun to get up there and run across, especially for younger folks. They do have an office, and directly behind the office is a porch that is also used as a bandstand during events and things like that. There is a wide open grassy area that you can play on and do a game of croquet or something like that. There's also a pavilion right up here by the office and the bandstand, and this pavilion is good for doing picnics and group events and things such as that. As you can see, it's a very pretty area with a lot of trees and cover, and then this open area up by the office makes it very nice to be able to come up and gather together. I thank you so much for joining us for our video. I will be giving you an update on what's happening in my life. I've had to give up part of my photography because of my eyes. I'm unable to drive at night, and that takes out the ability to do sunrises and sunset type images, because on either one of those, I would have to drive in the dark, and I just can't do that anymore. But I'm still planning on going ahead with the plans for the book. And for those photos that I can't take myself, I will get some help from others and pay them to put their photos in along with my own images that I'm able to get. I thank you so much for joining us. We're going to change the name of the channel back to Moose Villa Off Grid, since that's going to more illustrate what the channel will be about. And of course, I'll have numerous videos as we go forward and begin to clear the lot and to build my cabin, shed, observatory, and so on. I thank you so much for joining us. If you would, please give us that thumbs up icon or a like-a-roo. If you would, please recommend the channel to others so that they can go ahead and subscribe and follow along with the progress as we build our new homestead. Thank you so much. Goodbye.